In a world shadowed by unseen battles where the forces of darkness and light clash in a never-ending struggle, there stands a call to arms for the faithful. Imagine for a moment the might of an army united under one purpose, one mission, one divine command. Hello, warriors of faith. Welcome back to the Prophet Daniel channel. In today's riveting episode of Intercession on Fire, we're diving into School of War, learning to confront the enemy. Prayer is not just a routine, it's a powerful weapon. Think about the battles you've faced. How many times have you turned to prayer as your first line of defense? Today, we'll explore how prayer acts as both a shield and a sword, providing protection and enabling us to strike back against the enemy's schemes. I urge you, brothers and sisters, by our Lord Jesus Christ and by the love of the Spirit, to join me in my struggle by praying to God for me. Romans 15:30. Again the word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, say to the land, you are a land that has not been cleansed or rained on in the day of wrath. Her officials within her are like wolves tearing their prey. They shed blood and kill people to make unjust gain. I looked for someone among them who would build up the wall and stand before me in the gap on behalf of the land, so I would not have to destroy it. But I found no one. So I will pour out my wrath on them and consume them with my fiery anger, bringing down on their own heads all they have done, declares the sovereign Lord. Ezekiel 22:23-31. God seeks those who will rise up and pray on behalf of the land, just as he searched in the days of Ezekiel. He's calling you to be that prayer warrior. In every society, prophets bring people back to God, priests teach the way to worship, princes rule, and the people follow. But even when corruption is widespread, hope remains. God searches for a single intercessor to stand in the gap and save the nation. Consider the times we live in. Many leaders and influencers have strayed from God's path, leading people into darkness. Yet, this isn't a cause for despair. The history of intercession shows us that one person's prayers can turn the tide of history. Just as God looked for intercessors in the days of Ezekiel, he is looking for you today. Your prayers can bridge the gap between divine mercy and human failings. When society drifts away from righteousness, it can seem like all is lost. However, God's pattern has always been to seek out those who will intercede. It's a call to action, a call to be that voice crying out on behalf of others, to stand firm in prayer, and to believe in God's power to transform and redeem. God is calling each one of us to step into this vital role. Are you ready to stand in the gap? Principle of protection. Christ intercedes for us at the right hand of God, shielding us from accusations and judgments. As intercessors, we stand against judgments against God's children. Principle of pacification. Even great intercessors like Moses and Samuel couldn't always pacify God's judgment, but they could alter its course. Intercessors have the power to change the course of divine judgment. Principle of spiritual penetration. Daniel's prayers were heard from the first day, engaging in spiritual warfare against Satan's forces. Intercessors engaged directly in spiritual battles. Principle of mercy. Moses interceded to turn away God's wrath, boldly standing between judgment and sin. Intercessors stand boldly between judgment and sin, pleading for mercy. Principle of personal reward. God restored Job's fortunes when he prayed for his friends. Intercessors reap the love they sow. There are personal rewards in intercession. Principle of personal holiness. Righteous individuals like Noah, Daniel, and Job can save only themselves by their righteousness. Holiness in intercession mitigates judgment. Principle of liberation. God hears the cries of his people and delivers them from oppression. The 5 qualifications of an intercessor. To be an effective intercessor, you need Abraham's conviction in God's justice, Moses' deep concern for God's glory, Daniel's intimate relationship with God, Aaron's courage, and Nehemiah's willingness and availability. These qualifications are essential for waging effective spiritual warfare. The modus operandi of intercessory prayer includes A. Pray always, entuchano, stay in God's presence and plead. B. Pray with all prayer and supplication, entesis, approach God with specific requests. C. Pray for all the saints, huper entucha, persistently petition God. D. Watch with all perseverance. Paga, stand against Satan's forces. E. Pray in the Spirit. Paga, defend and protect others in prayer. The method of intercessory prayer is one of constant and fervent supplication. The theater of operations for war prayer. The ministry of intercession is like a well-prepared army. Put on the full armor of God, aim accurately at spiritual targets, resist the devil's schemes, recognize the enemy's attacks, lies versus truth, wickedness versus righteousness, and use prayer as a powerful weapon. Equipped with God's armor, we are ready for spiritual warfare. Conclusion. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Intercession on Fire. Today we've learned how intercessory prayer is a powerful tool in spiritual warfare. It demands commitment, courage, and a deep relationship with God. Let's pledge to be faithful intercessors, standing in the gap for others, and confronting the enemy with God's full armor. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Prophet Daniel for more inspiring content. May God bless your journey of intercession. See you in the next video, everyone. Stay with God.